Very warm welcome to our next episode of Assam Election Watch Podcast. This episode is basically when the rich dominate politics, what it means for Assam's democracy. যেতিয়া ধনীসকলে ৰাজনীতিত অধিপত্য বিস্তাৰ কৰে, আমাৰ অসমৰ গণতন্ত্ৰৰ বাবে ইয়াৰ অৰ্থ কি? কি হ'ব পাৰে অসমৰ গণতন্ত্ৰত প্ৰভাৱ? ইতিমধ্যে অসম অন্য এক বিধানসভা নিৰ্বাচনৰ দিশে আগবাঢ়িছে। আমি আপোনালোকৰ মাজলৈ লৈ আহিছোঁ সাধাৰণতে শিৰোনামাৰ বাহিৰত থকা এক ধাৰাবাহিক কথোপকথনৰ মাজলৈ আৰু আমাৰ গণতন্ত্ৰক গঢ় দিয়া গভীৰ ধাৰাবোৰৰ দিশলৈ। আহক আজি আমি এনে এটা বিষয়ৰ ওপৰত আলোচনা কৰোঁ যিটো অতি সহজ বিষয় কিন্তু অত্যন্ত অস্বস্তিকৰ বিষয়। আৰু বিষয়টো হৈছে যে আমাৰ বিধানসভাখন ক্ৰমাৎ ধনীসকলৰ অধিপত্যত থাকিবলৈ বিচৰা এটা অনুষ্ঠানলৈ পৰিণত হৈছে নেকি? This is a great opportunity for us that we are joined Maj Gen Anil Verma from the Association for Democratic Reforms to discuss this subject today. He is the head of ADR. Very warm welcome, Major General Retired Anil Verma ji. Please come and please take the stage.
Thank you, Dr. Ariful, for giving me the opportunity. And namaskar and good afternoon to all your viewers also. So this is a very important topic you have chosen.
Let me begin with a very personal observation, sir. The personal observation is that when I started watching election in Assam around 2008, MLAs, very few MLAs, crorepati MLAs were there. But in 2016 onwards, when we have observed, in 2016 Assembly, we found that 56% of the MLAs are crorepatis. And it has increased by 11% in 2021. So it's become around 67%. At present, the MLAs are 67% are crorepatis. From ADR's perspective, sir, how do you interpret this shift? How do you see this, please?
Ariful ji, there is no doubt that the politics in our country now is dominated by money power. And if we see the statistics at the national level also, you will find that most of the MPs and MLAs are crorepatis. Now, some people say that crorepati is not a big deal. आजकल सभी के पास पैसा है, किसी के पास एक फ्लैट है किसी बड़ी सिटी में तो वो भी करोड़ों में होता है, तो कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. लेकिन the point which you have raised, what we have to see, is it commensurate to the rest of the citizens of our country, the type of people who are now in the politics and who are forming governments, what is their record like? So we all know that a huge amount of money is being expended on the elections now. Elections have become like battlefields and very vicious competition is there amongst the stakeholders, different political parties. And we also know the role of the corporates, the amount of black money which is used during the elections. And when the corporates are pumping in a lot of money, and this is over the years we have seen that whichever party they think is going to win, that is given the maximum number of donations. So we have to think now, if we are electing these type of people based on corporate funding, will they work for the citizens, for the common man, or will they make policies which favor the corporates? So the point
what I
which
have
you just
understood,
mentioned.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you, sir. So
Yeah,
what I could hear from you, that we are moving towards a system where only those with financial strength can realistically contest and win elections. Let me come to what I think is the core concern. Assam is still a state where large section of population struggles with economic challenges. So the question is, when policy making is increasingly in the hands of wealthy, can the interest of the poor and marginalized be fully represented? Can they represent really the requirements of the marginalized and poor of the state?
So before we discuss this topic, Arifulji, I would request that Nandini shows the first couple of slides in which I want to show your viewers what is the situation of crorepathies as far as our parliament goes. Next slide, please. So if you see, these are the average assets of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha MPs and also the pan-India MLAs. So as you can see, Lok Sabha sitting MPs, it is 46.34 crores. For Rajya Sabha MPs, it is almost 3 times, 120.69 crores. And the average asset of MLAs from all the states and union territories of India is about 18.18 crores. So all is in double digits. Nothing is in single digit. Next slide, please. Now here, I have just, again, to give an idea to your viewers, I have taken the top 5 states with the highest average assets of MLAs. Now you will see that Andhra, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Telangana, Arunachal Pradesh, these are, I mean, I would say Arunachal Pradesh is a bit of an outlier, but otherwise the others are all rich states who have very good industrial bases and business and rich people. So you see the average assets of Andhra Pradesh MLAs is 65 crores, Karnataka is 63 crores, Maharashtra is 43 crores, Telangana is 38 crores, and Arunachal Pradesh is 26 crores. Now, if we go to the next slide, I will show you the 5 states with lowest average of the MLAs. Now, in this, you see topping the list is Assam, 4 crores average assets of MLAs, Manipur 3 crores, Kerala 3 crores, West Bengal 2 crores, and Tripura 1 crore. So if you see at the national level, if we compare Assam's average assets of MLAs, they are still quite low. But then that is also related to the state's economy and overall per capita income, etc., which I will come to in a little later. So basically, I wanted to highlight for your viewers that this is the state at the national level. Now, let's go to the next slide, Nandini. Okay. So this is now I'm coming to your question which you raised about, the type of people and what can we expect from them. Now, if you see, as per a recent study, 26.4% of India's population was below poverty line. Though the government claims that poverty has dropped to just 5%, but that claim is quite contested by a lot of people. And we have given the source of the news item here. So compare the national figure of poverty line with Assam. Now, in case of Assam, it has shown a decline in the poverty ratio from 36.97 in 2013-14 to 14.47 in 2022-23, which is a good sign. That means efforts have been made by the government. And in these years, these 10 years or so, which we have shown, there has been a decline in the poverty line. Next slide, please. Now here, I wanted to show the national average per capita income. So in 25-26, India's per capita income is 1,21,968 rupees at constant prices. Now, if you compare this to the average per capita income of Assam, as per the advance estimates at the current prices for financial year 22-23, it is estimated to be 1,12,328 as compared to rupees 1,07,661 for the year 21-22. So there has been a marginal increase in the per capita income of Assam, But if you compare it with the national average, it is still lower than the national average. So this is a point we need to keep in mind. Now, whether you can relate it to the governance issues or not, I'm not too sure, because there are so many factors and parameters which decide the per capita income of a state and a nation. Okay. uh, Next slide, please.
Yeah,
Yeah. So now we come to the issue what you had raised, that is, do you expect good governance from, if the priorities are not correct? So here again, I have shown the total budget of Assam for 2025-26, which is 1,55,985 crores. Now, I have just taken some of the major issues and shown them, because of course everything affects the common man. The amount of money which is spent on infrastructure in the long term, it helps, but the point is that what the people want is basic things like health, education, drinking water, good roads, sanitation, nutrition, and these type of things. So I have taken all these, and if you see the green portion, the others, it comes to 55%, whereas all those other relevant things which I am highlighting, that for the common man these are important, they education is 17.8%, health is 6.1, rural development 3.4, roads and bridges 7.5, agriculture is only 4.2, and irrigation and flood control 1.9, water supply sanitation 3.5. So of course all governments try to give a balanced budget and try to take care of the needs of the people, but we have to see whether there is some sort of consultation between the government and the people before the allocations of the budget is done. So we will leave it at this, and I'll again go back to you. There are a couple of more slides which I'll discuss later. Okay, Arifji,
this
over
is
to you.
this is very interesting, Anilji. It's a very interesting thing that you have shown. I fail to understand that the green one, that 56% which is being spent, is what actually, what that others mean. Does it mean the bigger industries or bigger something? So when agriculture is the heart of our entire economy, we have less than 10% expenditure on the on our economy. So I'm just wondering, before going away from this topic, এনে এটা পৰিৱেশত অনিচ্ছাকৃতভাৱে হলেও আমাৰ ৰাজ্যৰ নীতিসমূহ এটা নিৰ্দিষ্ট শ্ৰেণী, যে ধনিক শ্ৰেণীক অগ্ৰাধিকাৰ দিয়াৰ সম্ভাৱনা নাইনে? Isn't there a real possibility that even unintentionally policies begin to reflect the priorities of certain class, I can say the rich class?
Yes. So what I had mentioned in the beginning, Arifji, that when the major amount of money which is used by the political parties for their campaigns and for their funding, for their various issues, is coming from the corporates, then by and large the policy making can be influenced by them. And it happens. I mean, we are seeing it also, not only in the state, but in most of the nation. I mean, we can see that certain corporates are giving huge amounts of money, and therefore policies are made. I won't give examples, but we are all aware of the way it is happening. So therefore, what this results in is that there is a great amount of inequality in the wealth distribution when we make policies like this. So if I were to quote the World Inequality Report of 2026, it says that for India, the top 10% people who are the wealthiest, they control 58% of our national income. And the bottom 50% of the Indian citizens survive on 15% of the national income. So this is the great amount of India is ranked as one of the nations with the highest inequality of income and wealth distribution. So uh, top 1% holds 40% of the nation's assets. And like I was mentioning about the corporates and the rich people, everybody has heard of Mukesh Ambani. He holds 2% of India's wealth, only 1%. So that is the type of concentration we have. And then the economists have warned that if you don't do structural reforms in taxation, rural investment, it will endanger, in the long term, it will endanger the economic stability and social cohesion of the country. Because when this type of inequality continues, it will lead to problems and social unrest.
Yes, I completely agree with you. And when we look at the governance trends here in Assam, there is often a visible emphasis on large project, large infrastructure, and economic growth. Important, of course, it is important, perhaps, but do you think there is a risk that grassroots issues like livelihood, rural distress, marginal communities get relatively less attention when there is a mall coming into a city? The amount of goods that is being sold by the mall, a huge mall, consumes the livelihood of thousand other peoples who would have otherwise sold these subjects in the market. So their livelihood is being killed. Don't you see that the bigger and the more capital invested infrastructures are coming up, ignoring the marginal communities' requirements, and relatively they are getting lesser and lesser attention?
Uh, I would say yes and no. See, it is not totally true that the marginalized and the poorer people are being neglected. The government is got so many schemes by which they are helping. But we can argue whether those schemes are good or bad. Like the PM Kisan Yojana, the rural guarantee employment. I mean, there are 100 of these schemes which are being run by the central government for the benefit of the poorer, the marginalized, the low income agriculturists, and so on and so forth. So it is not to say that, and huge amounts of money are being spent on it. How much of it reaches the people, that used to be a problem. So that also the government is now doing direct transfers, cash transfers going into the banks of the individuals. So by which at least it's assured that the money is going there. But here I would like to point out that there is a saying in China that it is better to teach a man to catch fish rather than give him fish every day. Meat. So, like, it is better to generate employment. Of course, it's a challenging thing because of our population, the number of people who are there. It is challenging, though we feel proud that we have a youth base. 60% or some of our people are, in the young age group between 25 to 40 years, and we have a huge talent pool. But the point is that the way the economy is going, and now with this Iran war and with the Ukraine war, which is going on, which is going to have a very detrimental effect on the economy, not only of ours, but of the world, if it continues like this. Because as it is, we can see the effect reaching our households, in terms of LPG cylinders and petrol and diesel and all that. So it does have an effect. There's no doubt about that. But then all governments, they do try to take care of the lower class, lower income groups, I would say. I just wanted to
Yeah, I
highlight the definition of, yeah, just 1 second and then over to you. The definition of good governance given by United Nations. There are 8 things. It has to be participatory. It has to be consensus oriented. It has to be accountable. It has to be transparent, responsive, effective and efficient, equitable and inclusive. And lastly, the rule of law must be there. Now, we can judge for ourselves how many of these things are actually, possible or implemented in our state or in the country.
Yeah, out of 8 things means I completely, say that 5 things are not there. Inclusivity is not there, income equality is not there, and such 5 things I can, point out which is not there in Assam at the moment. I'm not talking about UPA government, NDA government, or anything, but by and large, here the politics is being controlled by the rich. Our state government is full of crore and they are making the decisions. But please tell me, do you think it has any long term risk to the democracy itself? Can it kill the democracy altogether in future?
Yes, it does affect the democracy. There is no doubt. I mean, there are hundreds of definitions of democracy, but the most famous one is of Abraham Lincoln, where he said it is for the people, by the people, of the people. Now, is that really truly the case in most of the democratic countries? There are problems. We all are aware of that. And I also want to mention a quote of Shri Acharya Kriplani. When he was giving a speech in the Constituent Assembly, he mentioned that the politicians, they say our government, my government, or Congress government, or Falana party government. He says they should use the word people's government because it is people who are supreme. So, unfortunately, after they get elected, though they talk big things when they are doing the election campaigns, they forget this, that they are the servants of the people. The people are the sovereignty of a nation is because of the citizens. Yes, political parties play a very important role in running a democracy. There is no doubt about it. But you cannot forget that it is the people who are sovereign. So, with this and the connected thing is now I'll request Nandin to show the last 2 slides, please. Wherein I want to tell you that ADR had conducted a survey in 2018 in which we wanted to know what do people want. And this was a very big survey. It was conducted in 530 constituencies of Lok Sabha. Each state was represented. From each constituency, parliamentary constituency, there were 500 respondents. So it was a very big respondents base. So here I have shown what were the top priorities of the Assam. The top priorities, as I mentioned earlier also, 47.9, almost 48% of the people said our top priority is better employment opportunity. 45.78% said we want better hospitals, primary healthcare centers. And 35.56% said we want better roads. So this was a list of 10 items, but I have taken only the top 3. And compared to that, what was the government's performance? We also rated that, asking the respondents. So in that you see, as far as it was under or below average, as I'll show you in the next graph, it was 2.04 out of 5. For health, it was 2.08 out of 5. For better road, it was 2.3 out of 5. Nandini, you can just show the next slide, please. So here you see that we have taken the average performance score of the government as 3 out of 5. This is the dotted red line, horizontal dotted red line. And in case of Assam, if you see the voters' priorities, which are shown, they are in the blue bar. Okay, the same thing which I had shown earlier. First one is employment, second is health, and third is better roads. So you see that the performance is that red line, horizontal line, which is below the dotted line. It is much below the expectations of the people. Next slide, please. And here we also did a survey of the rural and the urban breakup of voters' priorities. What did they want? So on the left side, in the green color is the rural, and on the right side, the dark grayish color is urban. So, in case of rural, again, health was top priority. 51% said, 45% said better employment opportunity, and 44% said agriculture loan availability is our top priority. In case of urban SMEs, 55% said better employment opportunity, 50% said better roads, and 39% said lower food prices for consumers. So this is an old survey which we did, but even now, after 7, 8 years, I don't think very much has changed. You will know better on the ground. Okay, Nandini, you can take off the slide, please.
Yes, I completely agree with you, and it is very visible. Means the employment is a major crisis in both rural as well as in urban, and so do the healthcare. And agriculture, it is very unfortunate that the performance is so poor. Uh, Now, my question is that so the issue is not wealth in politics. Politicians, rich politicians are coming is not the issue, but the issue is the concentration of political power within a narrow economic group, that is the rich. So only rich is having the economic, that is the economic group which is having the political power. That is very dangerous. Then now the situation is, as a independent election watch institution and support in the institution that is upholding the democracy in the state and questioning on behalf of the citizens. So what do you think, Anilji, what can be done? How do we ensure that democracy remains inclusive and representative? It is not only include the rich but also include the poor, who has different, poor and marginalized, who has different kind of issues and the concerns, and also it represented by the poor. Means, as you have rightly mentioned, that people, more than 50% of the Assam population is below poverty line. Sorry, 36% was below poverty line. Means mostly the people of Assam is poor, and this 36% of the people are not being represented in the parliament. What do you think is the change that we need to bring as a citizen of the country?
We have to be informed citizens, we have to elect good people, but unfortunately, there's a very complicated situation now with the amount of money and muscle which is being pumped into our electoral system. To contest elections, people spend huge amounts of money. For that, you need huge amounts of money. So that is one of the basic reasons why only people with bags of money, tons of money, are the ones who can afford to contest elections. Now, number of suggestions have been given to reduce the money power in the system. A lot of debate, discussion, a lot of suggestions have been there, but one of the doable things is to have state funding. Some people call it public funding, some call it state funding, and it is practiced also in certain other democracies in the world. What it means is that a certain amount of corpus is set aside for elections, and from that corpus, it may be managed by the election commission or by the government itself, and a certain amount of money is allotted to each party. Now, how much is allotted can again be based on the number of seats it holds, bigger party, smaller party, medium party, and a fixed amount of money is given. And nobody should be allowed to expend more than that. But for that type of a system to be brought into, to implement it is not easy, because there are so many other factors. Like in our country, the political parties are given a number of other benefits, like the free land or land at very nominate places, or so many other facilities are being given. So unless and until all those facilities are withdrawn, and then it should not, what I'm trying to say is it should not land up in a situation that you are getting money from that public fund also, and you are using black money also for fighting elections. Because now the sole motive of all parties across the board is winnability. And winnability means you select, or all parties, I am saying across the board, at least 1/3 of the tickets are given to people who have a lot of money and who have a lot of muscle power, who have number of criminal cases against them. Politicians feel that most of these cases are foisted on them, they are false cases and all. Partly it may be true also, but by and large, there are people with criminal backgrounds who are there in the politics. So the reduction of the money power in the this thing, and having candidates with cleaner backgrounds, if the people can select those, it would help. But the problem is that the ticket is given by the political parties. The janta, the common man, the citizen has no role in that. He has no role to play in that. So if we have a system, like I said, participatory democracy, wherein we have a system like in some other countries, wherein the people of that constituency, they decide the names of the people who can contest elections. So if that sort of a system can come, it may help. Otherwise, it will continue the way it is continuing.
Yeah, it is, it's a very, very, difficult situation we are in. As we approach the next assembly election, this something worth reflecting on. Whether a candidate is rich or not, but whether our democracy reflects the diversity of our society, that is the major question that we have. Because in the end, representative is not just about winning election, it is about who gets the opportunity to save the future of the state. And we are almost 30 minutes now, we are running out of time. So basically the problem is not the rich are in politics. The problem begins when politics belong to only to the rich, only to the rich. সমস্যাটো এইটো নহয় যে ধনী মানুহ ৰাজনীতিত আছে। সমস্যা আৰম্ভ হয় তেতিয়া যেতিয়া ৰাজনীতি কেৱল ধনী মানুহৰহে কাম হয়। I would like to close the session here. Thank you very much, Major General Anil Verma ji, for coming and strengthening Assam Election Watch campaign. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Arifji. I would request all your viewers to go to myneta.info and our app MyNeta to see the details of all the candidates who are contesting elections. We will publish the report a week or 10 days before the polling date. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you very much.